Hi everyone, I am Beulah Dallas, Associate Professor, Community Health Nursing Department. Today's topic is community diagnosis. At the end of this session, learner will be able to define community diagnosis, list out the purpose of community diagnosis, enlist the factors of community diagnosis, and explain the process of community diagnosis. The term diagnosis comes from the Greek word diagnoskin, meaning to distinguish, dia meaning through, apart, and from, gignoskin meaning to know. The community diagnosis depends on understanding of the social science, vital statistics, and the epidemiological investigations. Community diagnosis may be defined as determining the pattern of health problems in a community, including factors which influence this pattern of disease. Community diagnosis is the identification and quantification of health problems in a given population using health indicators to define those at risk or those in need of care and the opportunities and resources available to address these factors. The purposes of community diagnosis are: it helps in identification and quantification of health problems in a community, help in identification of those individuals or groups at risk or those who need health care. It helps to identify community needs and the problems. It helps to decide strategies for community involvement, effectively help in understanding the social, cultural, and environmental characteristics of the community. It can be used to help the community become conscious of its existing problems and find solutions. There are some factors influencing this community diagnosis. It may be classified into two: hard measurable factors, soft factors. The hard measurable factors are age, gender distribution, literacy status, prevalence of disease, sanitary conditions, that is environmental conditions. The not measurable factors or the soft factors are customs, belief, taboos, attitude, and values towards various situations. The steps of community diagnosis are: there are 6 steps. First thing is define the area, who and what we are going to diagnose in the community. Second step is identifying the needs of the particular community. Third one is specifying priority health needs of the community. The fourth one, identifying community resources for facilitating health problems. And fifth one, setting priorities for action. Sixth one is community needs in proportion to national capacity, intersectional cooperation in planning. When we are doing the planning, first thing is we should analyze the health needs or the health problems existing in a particular community or in a village. After analyzing, we need to prioritize, for which we have to give more importance. The present problems we have to give more importance. That another meaning is ranking of health problems identified by determining their relative importance on the basis of predetermined criteria. The third one is we have to set the goals and objectives. So these three, when we are planning about to do the community diagnosis, we should concentrate. When we setting the objectives, we have to consider the related to problem statement, client centered, and the second thing is the objective should be clear and concise, observable and measurable, time limited, realistic, determined by the client and the nurse. So setting objective itself, we should be very careful. When we are formulating the action plans and doing community diagnosis, we should follow certain criteria. The first one is to identify or find the agency or institutional policy. And the second thing is we should identify the resources availability of the institution or the organization or a community administration. And the third thing is the nature of the problem in a particular community. And the fourth one, community interest and feasibility. And the fifth one is always we need to have a good health personnel. They should have a good competencies in doing health services. And the last one is it should be practicability and efficiency. After planning, we need to implement our plan. So when we these implementations, we have three types of nursing intervention, that is supplemental intervention, facilitative intervention, and developmental intervention. What is supplemental intervention? Doing things for the families, groups, and the community at a large which they are not able to do. Example, nursing care of sick at home or in center or in any setting. That is supplemental intervention. The next one is facilitative intervention. That means removing the barrier, obstacles, etc. She helps them to mobilize and develop their resources. The nurse needs to know the community resources, health and health allied, know their functions and establish functional relationship. And the third intervention is developmental intervention. That means helping families, groups, and people at large to develop and improve their capacities. The nurse educates members to recognize their health problems, health needs, find solutions, mobilize and develop their resources and abilities to implement actions, etc. The final step is evaluation or analysis. The community analysis is the process of examining data to define needs, strengths, barriers, opportunities, readiness, and resources. Let me summarize this topic. Today we learned about what is community diagnosis, what are the purposes of community diagnosis, and factors influencing in community diagnosis, steps and the process of doing community diagnosis. Let me conclude today's topic. This community diagnosis, especially in primary health care, is necessary to provide a detailed description of the community as well as an evaluation of the community's health, including the main factors responsible for it and the needs felt by the population. The community diagnosis has been shown to be useful not only to identify health needs but also as an efficient instrument to trigger social and public health actions that may be undertaken at the institutional level. Thank you for your patience listening.